Hi there, year 8. So I got a question for exercise 4F on question 8b. This is to do with area of a circle, but specifically we call them sectors. And sectors just basically means that a portion of a circle, and you want to find the area of that portion. Okay, so here in question 8 it says what percentage of the total area, so you need to first find what is the total area and what is it occupied by the shaded region. So is half of the half of the total area, is it being shaded? Or is it only a quarter of it being shaded? Or is it a third of it being shaded? But they want you to find the percentage. So if it's half, then it's 50%. If it's a quarter, it's 25%. So how do we do this? Well, it seems that we will need two components. We need to know how much is shaded, okay? And we also need to know what is the total area, okay? So we need to know area that is shaded, and we also need to know the area, which is the total area of the shape. So we're going to do exercise 4F question 8b. So let's have a look. 8b. They've given us a circle. And what I can see here is they've given us a radius. So from the center to the outside of a circle, it's 3 meters. So I know R is equal to 3 meters. Now, if R is 3 meters, we know that to find the area of this entire circle, which means that I'm looking for a full 360 area, okay, then we know the area formula for a circle is given by pi times the radius squared times by the region that you're looking at. So out of the 360 degrees, which makes a full circle, we want all 360 out of 360, okay? So using this formula, I can then work out the total area. So this is the total area that's available. So then it'll be pi times 3, which is my radius. 3 squared times 360 divided by 360 actually is 1. Well, you can time all this on your calculator as well. Now, I've got a senior level calculator. So I'm going to do both on a senior level calculator and then a scientific calculator. So if you're using the calculator on your laptop, you got to be careful. They don't, using brackets would probably be a good idea, but here I don't see any brackets. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to do BODMAS first. So do 3 squared. So 3 squared means 3, and that's a square button. So 3 squared gives you 9. And then you're timesing it by 1, or if you didn't have the fraction symbol, there's no brackets here. This makes it really hard, isn't it? So times by pi. There is no pi. Maybe I got to change it to a scientific. There we go. Much better. We've got more options now. So let's do it again. So we want 3 squared. And we want to times this 2. And I'm going to use a bracket. So bracket. So notice the line I'm writing up here. It's 360 divided by 360. So that 360 degrees out of the 360 total. So that's that component. Right? And then I got to times it by pi. So times, and let's go find the pi symbol. There we go. So if I put it all together now and I press enter, this is my answer. I get a total answer of, what was it again? That was 28.2743. 28.247. Wait, that doesn't make sense. 2743. 2743. And this is area units, so it should be squared meters. All right, but they did say round your answer to 1 decimal place. So if I round it to 1 decimal place, this is 1 decimal place, but that's a 7. It's bigger than 5, so I would then change that to 3. So 28.3 square meters is the total area that it can have. Now, if you have one of these senior calculators, I could have typed it all in one go. I could have done pi multiplied to 3 squared, and then multiplied to 360 on 360. So with a senior calculator, you can actually type fractions, and you can see it comes out the same answer. Okay? All right. So now I've got the total area. So this one's done. Now, what's the area that's shaded? Well, the area that's shaded, this is the trickier part. So now you know the total. Well, how much of the total is being shaded? Well, only this portion is being shaded. This is the region that's being shaded, right? Now you know that there's 249 degrees that's not shaded, so this is not shaded. This is the shaded region. So if this is 249, well then what would the angle have to be for the shaded region? Well, we know that has to add up to 360. The total 249 plus something has to equal to 360. So you can kind of count with your fingers and figure that out, or you can use a calculator. Total is 360. If you minus by 249, that's the leftover. So there should be 111 degrees left over for the shaded region to make it add up to 360. So now that we know the shaded region is 111 degrees, now we can work out the area for the shaded region. So here we go. Area again for the shaded region is equal to pi times, the radius is still the same, so it's still 3 squared, times, now out of 360, see, I don't want all of the region, I only want 111 degrees of the 360 degrees. So that's the portion I want. And so now typing that on your calculator, you go pi times 3 squared times, and again, 111 over 360. You should get 8.7179. 8.7179, but rounding it to one decimal place would give me 8.7. Now, I just realized something here. You shouldn't actually round the answers too early because that's not your final answer. Your final answer was to find a percentage. So actually, when you're doing your calculations, don't use 8.7 and don't use 28.3. What you want to use for the final calculation, so here, what percentage, if you want to work out the percentage of the area that's being shaded, of shaded region, well, you need to first know, well, how much is being shaded? You got 8.7179 and it goes on, right? That's how much is shaded. And then out of your total, well, what was the total area that it could be possibly shaded? Well, it was 28.2743 onwards. So this proportion, if you want to change that to a percentage, you got to remember to times it by 100. So here we go. We're going to pop it in our calculator. So remember, this was the first area. That's the total area, and this is the shaded area, right? So here we go. I'm going to type it as a proportion. So this is the shaded area divided by, whoops, that didn't work out. I'm going to type it again. Pi times 3 squared times 360 divided by 360. And this one, so shaded region should be 111. So on the top there, that's shaded divided by total area. And remember, you need to times this proportion by 100 to make it a percentage. So when I press Control Enter, that gives me 30.8%. Okay, so that's when you round it to one decimal place. I'm just going to put this here so you can see my calculations there. So all I'm saying is this is the shaded region. So how much of it is being shaded? It's 8.71 square meters. How much is the total? Well, the total is 28.27. So this is the full calculation for shaded. And this is the full calculation for total. And this is to change to percentage. That's it. So the answer must then be rounding to one decimal place. It's 30.8%. Okay, if you round it too early, so what I was trying to say before is if you did 8.7 divided by 28.3, your answer will be close, but it'll be different. So watch what happens here. If I do 8.7 divided by 28.3, yeah, because that was our two answers over here before. So shaded divided by total, and then I say times by 100. Can you see the answer's slightly different? One is 30.74, and yet this one is 30.83. This is the correct answer. This is because you had rounded it too early, you lost a few numbers. And because you lost a few numbers, in the grand scheme of things, that is actually very different. Now, I know you might say, well, that's only 0.1 of a difference, but imagine this was millions of dollars. So that's either 30,800,000, or you can have 30,700,000. Why not take the extra $100,000? You know what I mean? So it does matter if you round it too early. So don't round your answers too early until the very end. Okay, so when you use your calculations, try to get as many of the digits as possible. But that's how you answer this question here. Hopefully that answers your query. Your aim is to find the area of the shaded, and then the total area. So you need the total. And to find a percentage, it is, well, what is the shaded divided by the total space that you could shade, and times by 100 to change it to a percentage. Okay, I hope that helps. And if there's further questions, please send me a message. Or you can also put on OneNote.